To every little girl watching, we see you.
We believe the time is now to make history.
Good afternoon and welcome to the second stop of the 2022-2023 Secret Dream Gap Tour here at the Rath Eastlink Community Centre in Truro, Nova Scotia. Our first matchup in this afternoon's game will be between the home team, Team Sonnet, and Team Scotiabank. My name is Noah Poirier. I'll have the call for you on cbcsports.ca and the PWHPI YouTube channel. I'm pleased to be joined alongside Michael Petter. And Michael, a big battle here tonight between a lot of talent on these two teams.
Oh, absolutely. And you look at the fact that these teams met in the Montreal Showcase. Not everybody played everybody in that showcase, so we can say that these teams have met before. Sonnet winning that game in that previous matchup by a score of 4-2. The big difference in this one this afternoon versus that first meeting, though, I think is going to be the play of Kristen Campbell. We'll get into that when we get into the introduction of the starting lineups. But I think Campbell is going to be a big key in this game when you look at what Scotiabank is capable of. and the difference in that she will play this game she didn't play in that first meeting.
So we're going to send it down to our PA announcer, Danny Carter. He'll get things going for you for our introductions here. We'll be back to take you through the rest of the starting lineups and then get underway here from the rec.
This time, I'd like to introduce the starting lineup. Please welcome the ladies' home team, Team Sonnet. Your coaching staff, assistant coach Paul Bagger, and head coach Laura McIntosh. Starting lineup for Team Sonnet, in goal, number 29, Nicole Hensley. On defense, number 23, Aaron Ambrose. Also playing defense, number 22, Claire Thompson. Number 37, Rebecca
Welcome back inside the Rath Eastlink Community Center. Almost set for puck drop. We'll take you through the starting goaltenders and starting lineups for each team. First, for the home team, Team Sonnet. In goal, Michael, it will be Nicole Hensley, a very decorated American goaltender.
Absolutely, and she comes in with tied for second in the league in goals against average at 2.0. Of course, it's very early on here. We don't have a lot of numbers to look at. Every goaltender has played one game. She has a victory and 2 goals given up, so a record of 1-0, a 2.0 goals against average, and a 905 save percentage in stopping 19 of 21 shots in the win that she had, and now the rest of the starters for Sonnet.
So on defense, it'll be arguably Canada's top defensive pairing at the Olympics and World Championships, Claire Thompson and Erin Ambrose, and then up front, you have Rebecca Leslie, Hannah Brandt, and then one of the best players on planet Earth, Hillary Knight.
And Knight just so powerful, so strong on the puck. She's got incredible legs and incredible hands. She can do so much when she's out there.
And then for Team Scotiabank, the visitors, as mentioned early on, Kristen Campbell gets the nod in net, one of Canada's 3 Olympic goaltenders. Another very decorated Olympian.
And so far this season, again, just like all the other goaltenders, only 1 game played, but that was a victory, and it was a shutout, a 42-save shutout. So not only does Campbell lead the league in goals against average and lead the league in save percentage, she leads the league in shutouts, and she's tied for the lead in wins, obviously at this early point in the season. And just got to mention really quickly that no big surprise, the biggest cheer in the introduction of the starting lineups was Blair Turnbull.
Yeah, Blair Turnbull from just down the road in Stellarton wins that opening draw and gets it ahead to Rebecca Johnson. Turnbull now on the puck, sends it back behind the net for Johnson. Johnson on the near side, cuts around in front. Defenseman lost her stick out front to Turnbull, jamming away at it. Hensley able to cover up. And a quick chance for Team Scotiabank just 18 seconds into this one.
And that's the way you want to start if you're Team Scotiabank. Get the puck in deep early, get the good forecheck going, get that cycle going, get the puck at the front of the net. They did all of those things right. Fortunately for Team Sonnet, Hensley was able to find that puck at the side of the net and get a stoppage.
Tie up off the draw. Leslie will come away from the fray, working down the right wing. It's whacked back in to the Sonnet zone, and a delayed offside coming as Turnbull barreled over her woman, and she'll have to tag up as Thompson sends it back ahead for Leslie. Ella Shelton, good work in shielding the puck away, but it's picked back up by Hannah Brandt, and she'll feather it towards the middle of the ice for Knight, but that was broken up at the last second by Jamie Bourbonnais. Victoria Bach cuts down the wing, quick shot, left pad stop made by Hensley. Some ongoing pressure here from Team Scotiabank in the early going. Kelly Panic sends it back to the point. D-to-D pass, Caitlin Gosling sends one through, looking for the deflection. That went just wide on the right side of the goaltender, Hensley, and it's worked back to the blue line by Team Sonnet, but not out. On the second chance, Abby Rock, a long stretch pass looking for Brianne Jenner. And how dangerous could Brianne Jenner be when she gets a loose on a breakaway?
Jenner, another one with such good hands, and you talk about the skill that she brings to the game. She is so powerful, and she's so intelligent with the puck too. It doesn't have a lot of wasted movement, doesn't have a lot of wasted space as she's taking her moves up the ice there, and so very, very dangerous.
An offside called as a pass came all the way back in the Sonnet end. The faceoff will come back down to the right of Hensley, as that's one cleanly back by Abby Rock. Ahead, Rock looking for the loose puck. Kelly Panic working along the half wall, and Team Sonnet able to get it out. The defensewoman steps up. That's Barga. She'll send it all the way down deep behind the net. Jenner, the first one on. Cycles down low. Rock tried to work her way out front. It was batted aside, and now Scotiabank will work their way up ice. Victoria Bach down the left wing with speed. Shot on right into the chest of Nicole Hensley, and she'll cover up with those beautiful American pads.
And the nice thing about Hensley and the way she handled that play there, she was right out to the top of her crease, challenging the shooter, not giving any room to get a shot through her. The only place the puck could go was right into the middle of the crest, and able to handle it easily there was Hensley.
Grace Graham going for the shot. That was blocked by this Sonnet forward, and it's cycled back down low. Both teams looking to start their cycle game early. It's sent back in by Megan Keller. Pulled out of the fray, pass in front, looking cross crease. Was cleared aside, and Claire Thompson working down low. That'll be picked up by Madison Field. Hauled down by Thompson, no call on the play. And Team Scotiabank gains possession as Field was held up behind the net. Working on the near side, back to the point for Costa, covering the line, and a loose puck. Nobody was there, so Hensley just jumped on it and got an extra whack from Madison Field for her troubles, as Hensley will once again be forced to cover up with just over 2 minutes gone here in the first frame.
I'd love to have all of those people who belittle women's hockey because there's no contact, there's no physicality. We're 2:20 into this game. We've already seen some good collisions. We've seen some good puck battles. It may not be the thunderous, Scott Stevens types of hits, but you still get a good physical hockey game when you're watching this.
Absolutely. Team Sonnet unable to clear as Turnbull works the puck back into Sonnet zone. It's picked up by Jamie Bourbonnais just outside the blue line. She'll feather it back in. And Team Sonnet finally able to break it out. The pass was broken up by Bourbonnais, but at least now Sonnet getting some O-zone possession with that top line back on the ice. Hannah Brandt watched closely by Bourbonnais. She'll send it out and back to the point. Picked up Brown, fanned on the shot. That sent just wide of Campbell. And now it's worked loose by Team Scotiabank as one of the defensemen with often a change. Rebecca Johnson will try to get by her woman. Good play by Emily Brown. Able to break up that play, and it's sent out to center ice. Rebecca Leslie had to backtrack to pick that puck up. Over for Brown. Brown back behind the net for her defense partner, Micah Zandyhart, another one of those Canadian Olympic defense women. And now away with speed comes Team Sonnet. Good defensive play by Jocelyn Larocque. Able to break it up. It's worked back in by Team Scotiabank. Back and forth action here in the early going. Good play by Panic to break that one up, and she'll work down the left wing before cycling it down low. The only jersey there was a blue one. And it's sent ahead by Vespa. Picked up by Bach. She'll send it back to the point. Keller walks the line cleanly. Tried to get the shot away. That was blocked by Demi Crossman. And it's pulled out by Zandy Hart. She'll flip it. Looked like it might have went into the Sonnet bench, but no call from the officials, and Scotiabank will work it through. Aaron Ambrose, good heads-up play right off the bench, but it leads almost an odd woman rush. Costa, good shot through the legs of Thompson. A great heads-up play as she used the Team Sonnet defender for the screen, but Hensley able to glove that down.
Costa from Mississauga went to Quinnipiac. I always mispronounce this, and I should have. Quinnipiac University, and another one of these players, and you can say this about just about any one of them. Such good feet and moves so well with and without the puck.
Ella Shelton with a good opportunity as she stepped into one off the draw, caught a piece of Hensley's glove as it's being worked over behind the net. Another chance out for Costa. That was blocked. As Hannah Bunton will try to pull it loose from the fray behind the net. Eventually comes loose to Thompson. And the smooth skating defender will work it down on net, and Kristen Campbell will be forced to cover up as Team Sonnet makes a much needed change.
Campbell not taking any chances there. She saw that she had players coming in on top of her, made the right decision, letting her team get organized, get themselves settled, and get that defensive zone face-off.
That face-off won by Team Scotiabank, and Bourbonnais will rim it around the boards, picked up by Shelton as she's being hassled by two members of Team Sonnet. She'll work it loose, and it's sent out. Bourbonnais looking for the long stretch pass ahead, gets on the stick of Field. She was looking for Costa, but Costa curled off on a change, and it's pulled back out in the Scotiabank zone by Jenner, unable to get the shot away. Good defensive play to get back. That was Haley Lunny lifting the stick of Jenner before she could get the shot away. Kirion ahead for Turnbull with speed. Got to think she has a little extra pep in her step being in front of a hometown crowd. Turnbull down the right wing. Slung across. Kirion looking for the centering pass. That was deflected by Barga. It's picked up by Brown. Brown reverses it behind the net. Worked ahead on the right wing, turned over, picked up by Johnson. Johnson over Turnbull, looking for the shot. Might have been looking for that little pass in front. Turnbull tried to bank one in on the second chance. Hensley doing a good job of hugging her post as the centering pass there picked off by Malia Schneider. Worked ahead and then picked up a long stretch pass, icing waved off. Johnston the first on that. Rebecca Johnston cuts out from behind the net, just off the side of the mesh. And Team Sonnet will work it ahead. Schneider has to hurry. She got caught up with one of the Team Scotiabank defenders, and now a partial break coming, but Schneider at the end of the shift was unable to come loose as Victoria Bach works it down. Tries to beat her and wide, got a shot away, but Hensley hugging the post and able to gobble that one up.
Malia Schneider from Millerville, Alberta. And I'm originally from Alberta. I got to admit, this is a small town in Alberta that I haven't even heard of. But, you know, just goes to show, doesn't matter whether you're from the big city of Edmonton, the small city of Red Deer, or the small town of Millerville, wherever you're from, you got a chance to grow in this game and play at the very top levels.
Cycled down low, it's picked off, and now Hannah Brandt trying to work it past, but unable to, and it's kept in at the line by Bourbonnais. Worked back down low by Team Scotiabank. Carpenter behind the net, Panic. Back to the point, Bourbonnais steps up off the right point. Good moves to get by the defender. Centering pass in front. Looking for Victoria Bach. That pass was picked off, and Hillary Knight able to work it ahead into the Scotiabank zone. Campbell will leave it behind the net for the defender, Bourbonnais. And now Bach away with speed. She's been all over the ice here in the early going. Victoria Bach tripped up. And now we'll get our first penalty of the game, and just a little bit too aggressive down low by Victoria Bach, so she'll sit for 2 or less. PWHPA wishes to express thanks to our premier partners, Secret Deodorant, Canadian Tire, Gatorade, and Adidas Hockey. So with that penalty to Bach, Michael, a good chance for Team Sonnet to get it back in their favor here on the power play, and they'll send out their top unit for it.
And Sonnet, interestingly, I believe, are the only team that has actually scored a power play goal so far this season. It's one of those unusual things. There's only been one power play goal out of the 4 games that we've had so far, and it wasn't actually Sonnet that scored it. My apologies, it was Scotiabank.
Jenner ahead, looking for the stick of Kogan, but she had her stick held up the whole way through, and Team Scotiabank able to clear it back into the Sonnet zone. Picked up by Aaron Ambrose, and she'll start the breakout. Works it ahead. Thompson back to the point. Rock covering. Back down low for Claire Thompson. Back for Rock. She'll leave it, and Jenner will take it at the right point. Cross ice for Ambrose. Back for Jenner. Jenner still working with it on the right wing. Has room to shoot. Does, but it hit her own teammate in front. That was Kogan, trying to set the screen on Campbell. Brown back behind the net for Jenner. Comes all the way back to the point. Ambrose, some room, steps in, the deflection on, stopped by Campbell, as the initial deflection went right to Samantha Kogan in front of the net, but Campbell almost fooled her, but she was able to get a piece of it with the pad. As Team Sonnet will change up some power play members with 40 seconds left in their advantage. Leslie tried to go back to the point. Knight was covering, and a good step by Hillary Knight. Unable to clear was Grace Graham. Turnbull behind the net for Shelton. She has some room. She'll send it the length of the ice. As Nicole Hensley will come out of the blue paint and leave it for Zandy Hart. Micah Zandy Hart looks for one more breakout and set up before the penalty to Bach expires. Brandt over on the right wing tonight. She'll work her way down, centering feed in front. Nobody there in a blue jersey. Back Zandy Hart, shot wide of the net. That was deflected by Knight as the penalty to Bach is now over. We're back to even strength. Another shot came in from the point just wide of Campbell. And it's picked up by Team Scotiabank. Caitlin Gosling ahead for Costa. And Bach right back in the mix. Fresh out of the penalty box. It's worked ahead with a good play by Gosling. And she'll send it over off the bench. Shot comes in, stick stop. Made by Hensley. And back the other way, Carpenter. Waits out, looking for the pass in front. That was blocked by Ambrose. Ambrose able to get to a knee as a mix of bodies in front jamming away, but right into the glove of Nicole Hensley as she's been busy here in the early going shots. 8-1 for Team Scotiabank.
But I want to come back to that one save so far that we've seen by Kristen Campbell, the 24-year-old from Brandon. She did one of the most difficult things you have to do as a goaltender. She was starting to move right. The deflection made her have to go back to her left, and she was able to get that pad out and make that save. Such a difficult save, but such a big one on that penalty kill for Campbell.
And back behind the net, Claire Thompson of Sonnet off the boards, tried to chip it ahead, gets on the stick of Alexa Vasco as she works it ahead, but it's picked up by Lequette. Out to center ice, Thompson, D for Ambrose, she'll feather it in on the near side, where it's picked up by Lequette once again. Nice toe drag move to get back. It's the forechecker, but it's picked off, and Rock unable to get her foot over the blue ice in time. It'll be an offside call against Team Sonnet as we head to our first commercial break of the afternoon. And Michael, you can't ask for much better hockey here in the first 10 minutes of play, eh?
Oh, it's been absolutely fantastic. And, you know, the biggest things that I've noticed for both of these teams so far is their closing speed on the player who has the puck. The player, whomever it is on either team, doesn't have a lot of time to make a decision, so they've got to be thinking quickly. They've got to be using good vision because there is so much closing speed by every single player on both of these rosters.
Yeah, when you get that opportunity to get that quick shot away, that quick chance in front of the goaltenders, you got to take it because you're going to be boxed right out in a second. And Nicole Hensley has been busy so far in the early going. 8 saves, shot still 8-1. That one save you mentioned from Campbell, a beautiful one nonetheless. On an advantage.
And I think for Hensley, I think she enjoys getting a lot of traffic, being a little bit more busy. You know, goaltenders that I talk to all the time, they say, I'd rather face 50 shots than face 3 in a game. You know, they want to be involved. They want to be able to maintain that focus, and it's a lot easier to do that when you've got a lot of shots, when you've got that traffic, when you're able to stay engaged.
So we're just about ready to get back to play here. Blair Turnbull, of course, she's going to log a lot of ice time here this afternoon.
And Blair, of course, from a hockey family, and I'll admit I got a little bit of a bias with her hometown being my hometown, but you look at her father, Ron, is heavily involved in coaching in Pictou County. Her brother Brent was played in the Q and then played for St. FX, so it runs strong in the Turnbull genes. The hockey gene there for sure.
Sonnet able to work it out just to center ice, but Turnbull able to close the gap on Jenner very quickly, but Jenner still able to come away with it, a drop pass for Bunton. She tried to send it through the middle, but that was picked off. And Turnbull sends it behind the net for Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais back behind the net for Ella Shelton. She has some room to skate with it. She'll look for that long stretch pass up in the air to Johnson, but that was picked off by Braga. Another long pass for Johnson, able to deflect that down, but Emily Brown, fresh off the bench, was able to get that loose puck and work it ahead for the blue side. Picked up by Megan Keller, another one of these very talented American players. As Keller works it ahead in the field, down the right wing, shot on, looking for the rebound. Hensley easily bats that into the corner. And Brown stepping up off her defensive position, able to work it out to center ice. Scotiabank able to gain possession, and Keller able to split the defense. Gets in, Megan Keller shot up high on the backhand. Shoulder stop was made by Hensley, and the puck comes loose, cleared. As Hensley was looking to cover up there, but Megan Keller just able to use that precision and step right up in the play off her defensive position and split both of the defensemen. But Hensley, her best stop of the 9 she's made tonight. It's worked down low by Team Sonnet. Lone forechecker in there for the blue side is Tarnowski. And she works it down low, but it's pulled loose from the pile by Team Scotiabank. Worked ahead, Lunny turned it over, and it's picked up down the right wall. And Hillary Knight will send it in deep behind Campbell. Comes loose, Hannah Brandt in front, looking for Leslie. She was calling for that pass right off the bench. It's picked up by Knight on the left side, shields away. Back to the point, Thompson, D for Ambrose. Has some room to shoot, she'll send it through a crowd. That was blocked by Keller at the end of a long shift. Is Megan Keller able to work it loose? What a shift it has been. The American defensewoman, she sends it out to center ice and gets that much needed change. And on transition, Sonnet will try to take advantage of that, but Kelly Panic off the bench, able to poke it loose off of the stick of Hillary Knight, and it comes loose to Lequette. Turned over for Knight. Head through the middle, Leslie was looking for the pass. That was poked off her stick and into the near side corner. Lequette ahead for Curion. That was tipped ahead, but she did not get the red line. and it'll be an icing against Team Scotiabank. The PWHPA wishes to express thanks to our partners Harvey, IGA, and Fresh Attitude Salads.
And I think this might be only the second icing we've had all game, might even be only the first, because passes have been connecting so well. We haven't had that missed pass that results in an icing that you sometimes see at other levels of the game.
Scotiabank been very effective on the face-off dot here in the early going as they win another one, but Team Sonnet able to work it loose. Behind the net, picked up by Scotiabank. Laquette ahead, that pass is picked off. As coming in through center ice was Alexa Vasco. Worked behind the net, that pass a little too far. And it's worked ahead to Victoria Bach. Bach shields away from two, check centering pass, looking for panic in front, just a little too far, and it's picked up by Kogan. Ahead for Vasco. Has Schneider with her, a 2-on-2. Could have been a 3-on-2 as the defenseman was pushing up. Schneider worked over by Shelton, able to take that away. And Bach able to send it through on the left side. Bourbonnais, the defenseman who was pinching up, got caught on the ice, and now a partial break here for Hannah Bunton. Shot blocker stop made by Campbell as Hannah Bunton came right off the bench. And she was able to get just enough space to get that quick shot away. As it's worked ahead now as Johnson catches it, a rolling puck. And it's worked back to the defense position as Shelton. That's turnover for Rock. And she'll leave it for Jenner. Jenner spins away from a defender. But it's turned over. Turnbull ahead looking for Johnston. Good active stick by Brown. The Team Scotiabank able to stay with it. Johnston works it through. Bourbonnais up off the point. Shot pad stop made by Hensley. As these defense women not shy to step off of the point position and get up in the rush. As the puck's picked up by Brianne Jenner. And she'll feather it ahead to Prevost. Prevost down the right side. Has Crossman with her. Pass all the way behind the net. Comes off to Tarnowski. And she'll send it back to the point for Thompson. Over for Ambrose. And Ambrose back for Thompson. She'll work in off the point. Still with it, Thompson. Back for Ambrose. Shot off the outside of the netting. Good work here. Down low from the fourth line of Team Sonnet. Another shot comes in from Ambrose. Might have been deflected by Crossman, but I don't think Campbell's seen it till the last second. She was able to block her aside. And it's picked up by Keller, trying to catch Team Sonnet on a change. Grace Graham got a piece of it, but she could have been off to the races if she handled that cleanly. Working down low is Field, tries to get it loose. 4 Sonnet players on that right side. It's worked down low back for Field. Madison Field still with some loose space back the point. Delayed penalty coming up. There's a shot from Laquette. Was deflected off the end boards, and Hensley will grab that as a penalty upcoming to Team Sonnet. And don't forget to check out shoppwhpa.com for player jerseys and apparel. All profits go directly to the players.
So we are going to see the Team Scotiabank go to the power play for the first time this afternoon. And as mentioned earlier, they are the only team that has scored a power play goal so far in the PWHPA this year. That power play goal coming against Team Adidas in their meeting back in Montreal. So Scotiabank leading the way with a 25% power play efficiency. Sonnet so far 100% though on the penalty kill. Again, pretty small sample size to look at.
Panic back up top to Keller, who you can only imagine will quarterback this power play of Team Scotiabank. Over for Panic. It'll be Lillian Rabina Braga off for slashing as Panic works it down low. Bach looking for the centering pass in front to Gosling, who pinched in off the left point. But that was poked aside. Team Sonnet unable to clear the zone as it's worked back low by Panic. Carpenter wheels into the hash marks, pass down low, looking for Gosling. That hopped over her stick. And now it's a battle in the near side corner. Picked out of the fray by Bach, and she has some room to work with it. And she'll look to set up here with 1:08 to go. Back to the point. Keller fans on that shot. And the second chance, able to clear down the ice by Alexa Vasco, and the penalty killers of Team Sonnet will get a much needed change as Team Scotiabank as well changing up some of their power play unit. So it's left for Ella Shelton behind the net as she'll look to break out. As Rebecca Johnson swings off the bench, and she'll swing down low. Shelton doesn't like what she sees, so she'll backtrack and send it ahead to Bourbonnais. Cross ice pass, Turnbull tips it for Johnston. Johnston down the left wing, curls around the net, still with it, back to Bourbonnais. Back to Ellis Shelton at the point. In off the point, Shelton works in, blocked by Ambrose, unable to clear his Team Sonnet, and Bourbonnais over for Turnbull. Back for Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais shot stopped by Hensley on the rebound. Turnbull. That shot was blocked in front as we come to the last 10 seconds of the power play for Team Scotiabank. Shelton winds and fires. That might have been deflected in front, and another great stop from Nicole Hensley as Shannon Stork was right on the doorstep looking for the deflection.
One thing that Team Scotiabank did so well on this power play, and it does have 6 seconds left in it, but one thing they've done so well is they get that 1-3-1 set up where the defender is up high right by the blue line, 3 across through the middle of the zone, and then the 1 forward down low, and they're able to switch positions based on where the puck ends up going, and everybody able to cycle their way through the spots and create chances by moving around so well.
And another chance off that draw as Ellis Shelton took a quick slap shot from the left point. That was right into the chest of Hensley as she covers up with just a second left to go in the penalty to Lillian Ribarina Braga.
And Shelton's going to have to be careful if they lose the draw, but they don't lose it, so it becomes a moot point that I was about to make.
Johnson, a centering pass that hit Turnbull's skate and harmlessly goes on the near side boards. Picked up by Buckles, and she'll work it loose and out to neutral ice, where it's picked up by Hannah Brandt. Turned back over, and Johnson, who it seems has been out for the whole power play, and then some, she'll finally curl off on a change as we come to the just under the 2-minute mark of the first period. Still scoreless here as a pass comes back. That almost fooled Hensley, but goes right past the net and able to work it out to Hillary Knight, just a little too far. And now Keller picks it up and sends it ahead for Field. Madison Field down the left wing, shot, looking for that deflection, something Scotiabank's been doing, and Laquette with another shot from the right side went wide of the net as Keller works it back down low for Field. Madison Field shot deflected by the stick of Hannah Brandt, and it's worked back behind the net. Thompson pulls it loose for Sonnet, ahead for Knight, and she'll just flip it ahead. And Claire Thompson in on the forecheck. The smooth skating defenseman steps up from her defensive position, but a good cover from Brianne Jenner, but a 3-on-2 developing the other way. Lunny tried to go cross ice for Field. That was picked off by Jenner playing defense. And almost a 2-on-1 the other way as we're in the last minute of play. And it's pulled out by Hogan. She gets a shot on Campbell, who's not been tested very much in this period. Makes the blocker save as it's sent back down low by the Sonnet defense. Working it on top of the net is Shelton, and we'll get a whistle here with 28 seconds left in the first period.
It's well documented how dangerous Brianne Jenner is offensively. We all know that. Anybody who's watched women's hockey at all knows that the 31-year-old is incredibly dangerous. But what we saw there is she also plays very well responsibly on the defensive side of the puck and creates a chance for her teammates by making a great play in her own end.
Shots now 13-6 in favor of Team Scotiabank, and as you mentioned, Jenner able to use her work on the defensive end to create a chance at the offensive end. One of the best 200-foot players in the game is Brianne Jenner as it's worked out, and Carpenter will have to hurry. Sandy Hart there as well, defending for Sonnet. Carpenter, so much speed from her here in the first period as the puck comes loose. Panic caught a piece of it, and Hensley able to cover up as just over 10 seconds left in this first period.
Alex Carpenter, a graduate of Boston College. You know that there is so much speed there for that youngster, and just so impressive to beat out the race on that puck when she was trailing by a good 10 feet at the center ice red line.
And Carpenter and Bach here on the same line. That is just two balls of energy, just so much speed on the wings for Team Scotiabank as it's worked behind the net to Bach. As we come to the last couple seconds of play, a pass out in front was deflected on, but Hensley able to stand her ground once again as she's done so here in this first period of play.
And Hensley so much making a huge difference in this period. If not for her and some very skilled saves, we're not looking at a 0-0 scoreline with 1.3 seconds left in the first.
And they'll take the face-off and just let time expire as we will come to the end of the first period of play. Michael, what are your thoughts overall in this first period between Team Scotiabank and Sonnet?
Absolutely fantastic, entertaining hockey. You couldn't ask for more. You've had some great defense. You've had some very good offensive chances. You've seen some nice goaltending from both ends of the ice. And I couldn't be happier with what I've seen on the ice. The only thing we're missing is some goal scoring, but you got to blame that on the goaltenders.
And the shots 13-6 in favor of Team Scotiabank after one period of play. So we'll step aside for the first intermission. After the break, Team Sonnet and Team Scotiabank, a scoreless tie.
All right, we're ringside here with Blair Turnbull. Blair, first of all, quick starts in Montreal and again here in Truro. What's been your team's success at coming prepared to play?
I think the biggest thing for us is trying to keep it simple. As cliche as that is, not many of us have played with each other before, so anytime you don't have much chemistry, the best thing to do is keep it simple and try to get lots of pucks on net.
Obviously a hometown favorite here. We heard it in the starting lineup. Tell us a little bit what's it like to be back on the East Coast playing.
It's awesome. I haven't played here since 2011 when I was here for the Canada Games, so it's been a while, but it's great to be home and great to be playing here in front of a nice home crowd.
Well, you can tell they're excited to see you here. Finally, do you have a favorite East Coast pregame meal?
My grandmother's here today, so I'll have to say anything my grandmother's cooking.
Love that. Blair Turnbull, Team Scotiabank. Stay tuned for the second period.
To every little girl watching, we see you.
We believe the time is now to make history. This game continues to grow. Progress has been made, but we haven't gotten far enough.
It's important to have a sustainable women's hockey league. We want the next generation to have equality.
It's not like we've put in less sweat. It's that we've gotten less opportunities, and it's time that it changes.
Equal sweat deserves equal opportunity.
Equal opportunity. Equal opportunity.
Welcome back inside the Rath Eastlink Community Center for the second period of action and the opening game of the Secret Dream Gap Tour here in Truro after one period of play between Team Scotiabank and Team Sonnet. It's been a scoreless tie, but Michael, action at both ends of the ice for a full 20 minutes.
Definitely, and you look at what these two goaltenders, Nicole Hensley and Kristen Campbell, have done. Between the two of them, they've made 19 saves on 19 shots. You can't ask any more of your goaltenders than that. Hensley with 13 saves, Campbell with 6, but the quality of those saves as well. We talked about the one on the penalty kill where Campbell was going to her right, had to make the adjustment and get that leg kicked back out to the left to make that save. That was a great one. And for Hensley, the biggest thing that I noticed from her game is her lateral movement is so good that her saves end up looking a lot easier than they really are. And that's the biggest compliment you can give a goalie, is the saves look easy, because she gets herself so well positioned, she gets herself out to challenge shooters, and she makes it look effortless. We know it's not effortless, but she makes it look that way.
And Hensley, of course, one of the best goaltenders in the world right now. Just the collection of hardware speaks for itself. The past World Championship, a 4-1 record. The only loss was in that gold medal game to Canada. 1.08 goals against, .930 save percentage. She was named best goaltender at the World Championship. So just unbelievable, and we get to see it firsthand here this afternoon.
Yeah, we're so lucky here in Truro to have the opportunity to have these women here playing in front of us. And you think about the other stops on the tour. Montreal previously, Pittsburgh, and then just yesterday announced that Ottawa is going to be another stop, and Truro is in amongst that mix. And we talked about Blair Turnbull and being literally 30 minutes down the road, just the other side of Mount Tom. But one other player who we didn't really mention, the Maritime connection, Grace Graham, also from the Maritimes, a little bit further away from Fredericton, New Brunswick. But for her, this is a bit of a homecoming as well. Not quite as much of a homecoming as it is for Blair and as it will be for Jillian Saulnier in this evening's game. But certainly has to be nice for Grace to be able to ply her trade in front of her fellow Maritimers.
Yeah, Grace, she's a rookie of the PWHPA this year, spent the 2016 to 2020 seasons at Cornell, and just a great hockey program in general. She's from just up in Fredericton, New Brunswick. And then some more New Brunswick talent later on tonight. One of the goaltenders, Marlene Boissonneau, she was here last year as well, and she started. She got a pretty big ovation from what I remember doing that, and I'm sure she'll see a bit of the crease here tonight in front of some home fans.
And if she doesn't get it tonight, she will get it definitely at some point throughout the weekend. Just more on Graham. As I was reading her bio here, her proudest on-ice accomplishment, having an undefeated ECAC and Ivy League season. You look at any sport, for any team to go undefeated through an entire season is absolutely incredible. Everybody's going to have an off night from time to time, but you look at that Cornell program in that year, even if they had an off night, they were able to find ways to win every single game through the ECAC and Ivy League year. And that just absolutely phenomenal. No big surprise that she lists that as her proudest accomplishment for sure.
And another player who spent some time at Cornell with Grace Graham has been Jamie Bourbonnais, one of the defensemen playing on Team Scotiabank. And she's been one of the people in my eyes who stood out the most tonight. Just through the neutral zone, just so fluent and just so effortless, able to gain offensive zone from the defensive position. And just as mentioned, just makes it look so easy.
And the thing I really like about Bourbonnais is that she's able to, and there you see her on the screen, Bourbonnais, she's able to make such quick, smart passes as well. She gets the puck on her stick. She recognizes quickly whether she's got time to carry or whether she has to make a pass. And if she does, she makes that pass decisively and on the tape. There's no messing around. There's no fighting by the player who has to receive that pass to try and get it settled down. It's always so sharp and so crisp when Bourbonnais makes a pass.
And we're underway here from the rec, second period of action between Team Sonnet and Team Scotiabank as a bounce goes way up into the Team Scotiabank bounce. And that's one thing about the rec here in Truro. You'll see some weird bounces. I know from firsthand experience calling a lot of games in this area. Some of the bounces here are not normal, but there's some of them in every rink, so can't really fault it.
And I was going to ask you, how has the ice adapted after losing the, because I think your rink did the same as ours up in Pictou County. After Fiona, the ice came out because of the power outages. How has the ice been since coming back?
Those first couple of games, there was definitely a lot of rolling pucks, a lot of players skating over pucks, but as it's been used more and more here in recent weeks, in the past month, it's finally starting to get back to normal, but you'll still get a couple of those bounces here and there, that's for sure. Is back underway. Aaron Ambrose unable to get it over the glove of Johnston as she spins away from a check. Just a one fluent motion, able to spin away, but Team Sonnet able to work it back ahead before it's turned over, and Shannon Stewart able to send it behind the net where Hensley will come out and reverse it on the stick of Leslie, chipped out to neutral ice. Bridget Laquette back to pick it up. Another one of those players who was here in Truro last year where the Olympic year happened last year, so a lot of the Olympians not here, but Bridget Laquette was one of them, and she stood out a lot on this same Team Scotiabank roster. As back the other way, Bunton looked like she was looking past, but instead shot one right into the chest of Kristen Campbell, and Campbell makes her first stop of the period just over a minute in.
And I think Bunton made the right decision there, as it was Rock trying to get up and join her on that rush, but Rock was still a few strides behind, and so I think if Bunton had tried to make that pass, I don't think it necessarily would have resulted in as good of a chance as he got off of that shot.
And as you mentioned back in the first period, a lot of trouble finding open space in there, so Hannah Bunton took her opportunity and ran with it there on that play, because you're not going to get a lot of open space with these athletes. As it comes back to the point, Brown's shot was blocked and it's sent through, and Victoria Bach back the other way with a break. Victoria Bach dekes to the backhand, puck still loose in the blue ice, and finally comes out on the stick of a Team Sonnet member, but Victoria Bach once again making her presence known as she went off to the races one stride and she was gone pretty much. Able to get a nice backhand opportunity off, but an even better defensive play. I believe that was Emma Buckles, as Bach right back in on the attack on the left side. Shot comes in, Hensley able to cover her post well, as she's done all afternoon long, and make another save.
And that first chance by Bach started with her blocking a shot. And you know, you talk about it all the time. Coaches will say it to their players constantly. Get in front of shots, get a block. You never know what's going to happen if you are able to take that puck off of your shin pads and go forward with it. Bach did that there, created a chance, and then got a second chance a little bit later on in the same shift.
Battle on the near side as three Sonnet bodies are in there, and they're finally able to work it loose. It's Samantha Cogan, and she'll flip it down deep, but she did not get the red line, so it'll be an icing against Team Sonnet with 18:04 to play in the second period. Still a scoreless game here from the rec.
And got to give a big credit to the linesperson there. Very well positioned to make sure she could make that correct call. You know, a lot of the time, if somebody up in our position is talking about an official, it's because they did something wrong. We don't spend enough time talking about the officials when they do something right. They deserve a little bit of a shout out there on that play.
And it's worked back out by Team Sonnet. Spinning away from a check was Kelly Panic, but she turns it over to Micah Zandy-Hart, who pinched in off the defensive position. Kicks it loose, but right on the stick of Bourbonnais. Up through the middle on a good breakout, as the pass for Shelton was just a hair too far for Field, but it's turned back over. Madison Field in, got that quick release away, but just up over top of the shoulder of Hensley. A decisive release there from Madison Field, as she still has the puck and sends it back to the point to Laquette. Cross ice. Shot comes in, covered up by Hensley, as that shot came in off of the stick of Shannon Stewart, who was the forward covering the defensewoman there in that position.
The thing that made Field's shot so dangerous, no big backswing, no big huge slap shot where you could see it coming from a mile away. It was just a quick flick of the wrist and so much power in that it created such a dangerous chance because it takes the reaction time down so much when there's not that big swing of the stick.
Knight gets over the blue line and just gets a shot away as Thompson runs into Laquette and falls over, so Knight has to come back and cover defense as a 3-on-1, a 4-on-1 developing the other way as Brandt able to get back and make it a 4-on-2. Team Scotiabank still with it. Johnston leaves it for Laquette. Cross ice, Curion. Shot comes in. That was deflected by Shannon Stewart, who's been dynamic in front of the net so far. A couple good deflection chances for Stewart here in this game. Good passing by Scotiabank. Comes to Keller off the bench. That shot was blocked and up off the end wall as it's taken. And a good heads-up play by Caitlin Gosling. She was coming off the bench, and if she touched that up right away, it would have been a too-many-men call against Team Scotiabank, but just a great heads-up play and a 2-on-1 the other way. Carpenter shot, blocker side stop made by Hensley. And things starting to open up a little bit more here in this second period. Keller being worked over by Abby Rock. And the puck comes out to Carpenter. Pass ahead, Panic working down the left wing. Panic shields away from the defender, Brown. Brown able to hug her up against the boards, but it comes loose to Bach. Back down low, picked up by Abby Rock, and she'll flip it ahead. And Brianne Jenner hard on the attack. I don't think this one will have enough for icing, and it won't. As Keller the first on it, and she'll come away with a loose puck ahead to Panic. Panic down the wing, held up. No call on the play as Team Sonnet regains possession. Puck worked through, picked off by Bourbonnais, pinching up off the defensive position, and Braga will send it through, but Victoria Bach almost caught that pass and was almost off to the races for the second time this period. This line of Panic, Bach, and Carpenter, I believe, in my opinion, has been the most dynamic for Team Scotiabank here in almost halfway through this game. Just so much speed on that line as Team Sonnet able to work it back down low as Ella Shelton weaves her way through two of the oncoming forecheckers from Team Sonnet, and she'll gain the red line and send it down on the near side. Picked up by Claire Thompson. Thompson lost it and works it ahead for Demi Crossman. Crossman had her stick knocked out of her hands, and it comes loose for Lunny. A 2-on-1 if they hurry. Haley Lunny, shot comes in. Hensley gives up a rebound. And a long stretch pass back the other way to Kogan. Kogan, that just hopped over her stick, and a good play by Kat Kirion to get that puck, and the deflected puck goes up and into the crowd, but just back and forth action here in this second period. The PWHPA wishes to express thanks to our premier partners, Secret Deodorant, CCM Hockey, Bank Scotia, and Sonnet Insurance.
What a burst of speed from the Lac-Mégantic Quebec native, Kat Kirion. It looked like that it was going to be a straight breakaway for Team Sonnet, but Kirion put on the afterburners and was able to get back there and make a great play on the back check.
Buckles pinches in off the point. She'll send it behind the net to Kogan. Work back up the half wall and back down for Kogan as Sonnet try to get the cycle game working here. D-to-D pass, Buckles. Down low off the end board, pops right loose, and it'll come right back to Buckles. I don't think that's what she was intending, but it almost worked out for Team Sonnet as it's picked up by Blair Turnbull as she's knocked into the wall by Kogan. Good shift here by Kogan as she gets some help down low from Malia Schneider. And that's finally worked loose by Team Scotiabank over to the far side, but Emily Brown right there for Team Sonnet, a shot in front, and Brown gets a couple whacks away, pinching up off her defensive position, but Campbell able to stand her ground and make the save.
You look at where all 5 Sonnet players were by the end of that sequence of play. All 5 of them were in at least to the top of the face-off circles inside the offensive zone, crashing at the net, trying to see if they could get something good to happen. But Kristen Campbell kept her poise, kept calm, found the puck, and was able to smother it for a face-off.
Good bounce back here by Team Sonnet in these last couple minutes as Leslie put one. Looked like it was going wide, might have hit a skate of a Scotiabank defender. And Campbell caught a piece of it as Caitlin Gosling works it into the Sonnet zone. Down low, Hannah Brandt picks it up. That hit the body of Carpenter, and a centering pass was picked off by Sonnet, but on the second chance, they do end up getting out. Megan Keller will retreat into the neutral zone. comes loose to Brandt. She'll send it down the ice, and Campbell has to come out to play it as the lone forechecker, Leslie, came in on the rush, and Leslie able to force a turnover, but had it knocked off her stick as Gosling and Carpenter both right in on that puck. Knight looking for the short pass. That was picked off by Keller. And Keller back behind the net for her defense partner, Gosling, ahead for Bach. Good pinch by Braga, and it's picked up by Jenner. She loses it, and it's picked up by Rock. Over for Claire Thompson. Shot comes in, looking for the deflection in front was Jenner. Campbell able to pad that aside to the near side corner. Bunton picks it up, taken down by Keller, and Keller able to send it up for Carpenter. Alex Carpenter has Costa with her as well as Bach. Pass looking for Bach was picked off by Thompson, but on the second chance, Costa able to pick it up and sends it back to the point for Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais over for Shelton, has some room at the face-off circle, tried to go high, glove on Hensley, but just missed. As it comes all the way back to the point, and it's taken by Jenner. Jenner ahead for 2-on-1, a 2-on-1 developing over for Rock. She'll wind and fire, scores!
What a shot there by Abby Rock. Somehow it gets through Kristen Campbell, and that's the first goal that Campbell has given up all year here in the PWHPA. I always get the acronym mixed up, but a great shot by Abby Rock. Just an absolute laser beam up high to get that one through Campbell.
Abby Rock got her first taste of Olympic and World Championship medals as she won silver in both the Olympics and World Championship. The graduate of Wisconsin, an absolute bullet off the pass by Hannah Bunton, and the ongoing pressure from Sonnet finally pays off. They lead 1-0. Bunton and Jenner with the assist on that goal by Abby Rock as it's worked back through by Team Scotiabank. Lunny had her stick held up for 1 second, and that's going to draw a penalty against Team Sonnet here with 11:49 to go here in the second period.
So the full summary on that goal, once again, Abby Rock, that's her second of the year, assisted by Hannah Bunton and Brianne Jenner at the 7:47 mark of period number 2 to give Team Sonnet the early, not early, the almost middle of the game 1-0 lead.
And it's definitely been a goalie duel between a Canada goaltender at one end and an American at the other end. We see it so many times in the World Championships and the Olympics, and you can't ask for a better matchup as Team Scotiabank will go to the power play as that puck was deflected up and out of play.
Scotiabank so far on the day 0 for 1 on the power play. This their second chance. They had really good puck movement and they created some good chances that first time around. So we'll see if they can build on that. And during the interview with Blair Turnbull there, she was talking about, you know, the lack of familiarity. Now that they've had one power play underneath them, now that they've had a little bit of time to talk about it, perhaps we'll see a little bit more interesting creativity coming out of this second power play chance.
Shelton got the shot away off the draw, but it was blocked away by Hensley, and Team Sonnet able to clear it the length of the ice. Just 20 seconds elapsed in the penalty to Hannah Brandt. That was who went off for Team Sonnet for holding. And now Rebecca Johnston works her way into the Team Sonnet end with speed. Johnston curls behind the net, curls back out front, shot. Lightning quick glove stop from Nicole Hensley off the stick of the ever dangerous Rebecca Johnston.
Hensley, it doesn't matter if you go blocker side, it doesn't matter if you go glove side. She's got the quick hands on both sides there. She's also got the quick feet that we've seen earlier. And if anybody can find a way where you can beat this American goaltender, it's going to be difficult, to say the least.
Quick whistle off the draw as a lines person. Looks like she's going to take Turnbull out of the circle here.
Perhaps just a warning this time.
Just a redo, it looks like. Rock, the goal scorer, lines up against Turnbull. Turnbull will win that cleanly. And Team Scotiabank will gain possession and look to set up in the Sonnet zone. Battle on the near side, worked free and down low for Stewart. I can only imagine she'll be heading to the front of the net once the defense get the position. And it's picked up by Shelton, looking for that deflection in front. It deflected off somebody, but off the end glass, where it's picked up by Bourbonnais. Cycled down low for Turnbull. She'll spin away from the pressure of Zandy Hart. Still with it is Blair Turnbull. Back to the point for Bourbonnais. Over for Johnson, manning the half wall. Over for Turnbull in the slot. She had to take that on her backhand. She was a left-handed shot. She might have been able to get a quick one-timer away, but it's picked off by Team Sonnet, and they get a bounce off the glass and into the Team Scotiabank end with 30 seconds left in their power play. Ella Shelton, who's been on for this whole power play, and she still has speed through the neutral zone. Ella Shelton in, shot, looking high on Hensley. Puck pops loose. Able to work it through was Carpenter. There's one of those bounces here at the rec as Ella Shelton able to come out on a one-woman breakout, get the shot away, and now off the bench comes Caitlin Gosling. That was blocked by Ambrose. And it comes loose. Centering pass by Panic was looking for Carpenter. Brandt now out of the box, and she's looking for that quick stretch pass, but just a second too late was Prevost. Puck comes loose in the slot. Box shot! She puts it right into the chest of Nicole Hensley, and just a flurry of action in the Team Sonnet zone, but Hensley still holding her ground. The PWHPA wishes to express thanks to our partners Budweiser, Tim Hortons, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, Blade Master, and Noble Estates.
And we're going to see a goaltending change at the Scotiabank end as Emerence Maschmeyer will come in to take over the goaltending duties. Maschmeyer comes in with a record of 0-1, a 3.05 goals against average, as she gave up the 3 goals in about 59 minutes of playing time, was brought out for an extra attacker, but obviously Scotiabank not able to get the tying goal in that particular case, and a save percentage of .893, so Maschmeyer getting her first taste of action here in Truro, at least for this year. I believe she was here last year as well, was she not?
I believe, no, I don't believe she was, because it was where the Olympic year she was with the team in the Olympics. Won that gold medal, won back-to-back world championships in 2021 and 22, so Emerence Maschmeyer knows a thing about winning. Another Canadian goaltender swapped out for another as Campbell comes out after a stellar performance, and Maschmeyer takes over as the faceoff stays down on the Team Sonnet zone, where Nicole Hensley will continue to man the crease.
And while we've got a couple seconds here, I just want to talk about the block shot that Erin Ambrose had during that penalty kill as well. The one thing Ambrose did really well, she got low to the ice so that more of her body was able to be in the shooting lane, and got her leg out wide as well, again making her body a lot bigger to get that extra space to block the shot.
And that's just the way Erin Ambrose plays. I remember seeing it in all those World Championships. If Canada's up by 1 and it's the final 30 seconds of play, Erin Ambrose is always on the ice. She's always getting in front of those loose pucks, basically like a second goaltender out there, and she showed it there as we're back underway. And it's turned over. Carpenter just got it lost in her feet, and Claire Thompson able to pull it loose. Over for the aforementioned Ambrose. She'll send it up to center ice. Leslie ahead looking for Knight. Knight was cutting to the right side. It's picked up by Team Scotiabank as Bach will feather it in to the Team Sonnet zone, and Team Scotiabank will change a couple bodies. Well, they have a chance, but it's worked back out by the blue side as Hillary Knight will send it off the stanchion. It goes on where Maschmeyer will get her first touch of the afternoon. Work behind the net, Tarnowski, the lone blue sweater there, picked off by Panic. And she'll skate loose, just decides to flip it out, and Field was cutting through the middle. She's able to pick it off the stick of Braga, and she'll work her way in. Tried to get it to the forehand. Hensley with a little bit of a poke check and a little bit of help from Micah Zandy Hart holding up Field for just a second as a shot comes in from the point for Ellis Shelton, and Hensley's able to see that all the way through for the whistle with 8:19 remaining here in the second.
A great play there by Zandy Hart from Victoria, BC, to stay with her player, not allow that stick to be quite as free as it could have been, and because of that play by Zandy Hart, that is a big part of why the save was a lot easier, or the poke check was a lot easier, I should say, for Hensley, thanks in large part to Zandy Hart.
Bourbonnais from the right point gets a shot away, no traffic in front of Hensley, and she's able to easily glove that aside for another whistle.
And just very quickly, the finishing line on Kristen Campbell in about 30 and a half minutes thereabout of playing time. She's faced 10 shots, made 9 saves, so that's a pretty easy math to do, a 900 save percentage. And if any of my students are watching, yes, I expected you to be able to do that math as well, kids.
Bourbonnais unable to hold the line. It'll be an offside call against Team Scotiabank as Brianne Jenner and Jamie Bourbonnais, former teammates of course, with a few words for each other. I'm sure obviously friendly, but a pretty professional women's hockey league. I don't think there's too many friends on these two teams right now.
And that's one of the interesting things. You've got Americans shooting on an American goalie who's their teammate at World Championships and at Olympics. You've got Canadians shooting on Canadian goaltenders who are their teammates. You know that they're trading secrets back and forth, but then how much does trading those secrets back and forth then go and hurt you next time around?
Field pass through the seam, deflected on by Haley Lunny. What a pass by Madison Field. Somehow got through the legs of the defender on Team Sonnet, and a deflection by Lunny just goes wide as Ella Shelton steps up off the point. And it's sent back to Costa, covering her position. Shot comes in, looking for the deflection in front. Was Field all over the ice this shift as the puck squirts back to the neutral zone, and Megan Keller will pick it up and go D-to-D for Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais through the middle for Turnbull. Turnbull might have let it go through as she had Rebecca Johnson right behind her. Back for Turnbull. That hopped over her stick. But pinching it off the point is Keller. She'll send it back down low. Johnson lost her stick. A little bit of time, she'll just pick it up as the puck comes loose. Keller tried to get it through, but it hit the body of Hannah Bunton and goes out to the neutral zone. Picked back up by Zandy Hart. He's logged a lot of minutes here, especially in this second frame. Mashmeyer out to play it. Sent ahead for Johnson. Good breakout to Turnbull and ahead for Stewart. A one-on-one. Turnbull trailing in the play. Comes loose. Blair Turnbull got the shot away. Didn't get all she wanted, and it just squirted wide on the left pad side of Hensley, and Team Sonnet will flip it down into the Team Scotiabank zone. Imagine Blair Turnbull gets one. This place is going to go nuts.
Emily Brown, I think, got her stick into the shooting lane of Turnbull, and that was what had part of that impact.
A turnover in front, and Kogan was all alone. She got the shot away on Mashmeyer, but Mashmeyer making her best stop so far since she's came in, and a possible 3-on-1 back the other way. Johnson cross ice, was looking for the trailer, Kelly Panic, but she was just a second behind, and then Stewart hit her stick, lifted at the last second. Comes loose, Kirion over for Stewart. She'll spin and fire one down deep. Hensley out to play it. All the way around, nobody there but Bridget Lequette. Back down low. Picked up by Buckles. Buckles will shield it between her feet, and it squeaks loose. As once again, Lequette pinches up off the point. Back down low, Panic. Back for Kirion. Spins, sends one on. Bach just hopped over her stick. And it's sent back down deep by Carpenter. Picked up by Brown. She'll go off the glass and out. Hopped over Kirion. A possible 2-on-1 developing out in front. Hillary Knight has a step. Deeks in. Stop made by Mashmeyer. As Hillary Knight, one person you do not want to leave all alone on the doorstep in front of your goaltender.
I think the biggest thing that helped Mashmeyer there is that Knight didn't have a lot of room to work with by the time that puck actually got to her. She got it only about 1.5 feet, 2 feet from the blue ice there of the crease. If Knight has more room to work, that's a goal for sure.
Back to point, Ambrose has some room. That was blocked by Lunny. Bourbonnais, cross ice pass to Field. And Field trying to work it through Claire Thompson, but Thompson ever so steady in the defensive end, the mainstay on Team Canada's blue line as it's worked through. Rebound comes loose, but it's cleared off the blue paint. And Sonnet will look to settle it down. There's a long cross ice pass picked off by Bourbonnais. She'll wait for her teammates to get back onside and cut down the right wing. Back for Costa. Costa chips one on net, but Hensley able to cover that up before any trouble ensues in the blue ice.
Bourbonnais having to slow up just that little bit, lost that bit of speed as she had to adjust to make sure it wasn't an offside, then trying to get the speed back up again, didn't quite have enough time to get all the way up to full speed, and so that meant that there wasn't quite as much power on that shot on that opportunity.
Face-off won by Team Sonnet. They have not won too many of those face-offs, but a very important defensive zone draw, and they're able to work a breakout to perfection. Kagan through the middle looking for Braga, who was coming in. These defense not afraid to pinch at all, and the forwards have been doing an excellent job of covering the blue line as that puck is thrown out. And it won't have enough for icing. Is turning and firing was Team Scotiabank. That was Oh, a 2-on-1 the other way coming. Cross ice pass, looking for Kogan. What a defensive play by Megan Keller. It's just like clockwork, just so effortless. And cutting through was Rebecca Johnston as she tried to toe drag her way past Buckles, but it's worked back down low for Field. Back looking for Johnson, picked off by Buckles. Just great defense at both ends by both of these teams. First Megan Keller and then Emma Buckles at the other end. As it's worked ahead, and Buckles will spin away from a check and work it free. Sent back in where Keller picks it up. And it's picked up by Blair Turnbull. Turnbull works past one, back pass, shot, scores! Shannon Stewart off a beautiful feed from Blair Turnbull, and Team Scotiabank gets it right back. It's a 1-1 game.
And you mentioned if Blair Turnbull scores, well, Blair Turnbull's going to get an assist, and you're going to hear it from this crowd when they announce her with the assist. But what a finish there by Shannon Stewart. Turnbull did a lot of the work to set that up nicely for Stewart, but Stewart needed to have the hands, needed to have the skill to get the finish on that one, and she was certainly able to do that. Blair Turnbull, that is her 5th assist of the year already. She came in second in the PWHPA in points with 4, and all of them were helpers. Now she gets her 5th.
Knight, a shot from the line. That was blocked by Curion and picked up by Hannah Brandt. Down low, pass was looking for Leslie, but it's picked off by Laquette, and back the other way comes Johnson. Rebecca Johnson looks past and decides to shoot. Nice pad stop by Hensley. As Curion, another great play, pinching up off the point. She's able to force a turnover as she is scrambling alongside the ice, and Claire Thompson picks it up. Ahead for Knight. Knight for Leslie. Down the left wing with speed. Back in front looking for Knight. That pass just caught a little bit too much air. And Team Scotiabank looks to settle things down after tying this game up. Ahead, Victoria Bach with speed. Down the right side, she'll circle all the way around the net. Back to the point for Shelton. Shelton shot. Hensley caught a piece of it, and it deflects off the end boards and all the way around where it'll come out to the neutral zone. And first on the puck, once again, Victoria Bach. And it's sent down deep by Shelton, picked up by Braga. She'll reverse it behind the net, but Carpenter will be the first one on. Alex Carpenter out to the slot as Ella Shelton was right there looking for the one-timer. Hannah Bunton able to disrupt that just enough in the battle on the near side. Down low, Panic sends one on. Rebound comes loose as that kind of fooled Hensley as Madison Field was right on the doorstep. And Sonnet will send it down the ice, picked up by Bourbonnais. So we approach a 2-minute warning here in the second period. Bourbonnais slowing things down through the middle, looking for Bach. She was looking the wrong way, and it comes back to Bourbonnais. She'll flip it out, and it's picked up by Brown. Ahead for Prevost, has Jenner going to that. The trailer picked up by Vasco. Great block by Jamie Bourbonnais. As Vasco, the trailer, was looking to get the quick backhand on. It's picked up by Prevost. Swatted loose. Field at the end of her shift turns it over. Prevost back on the attack. Back behind the net, Vasco chasing after it. Shelton there as well for Scotiabank. Ella Shelton flips it up through the middle. Chipped down by Buckles. They thought it was going to be an offside as Vasco collides at center with Field. And it's sent down low. Bach able to tip it in, and full sail changes coming for Team Scotiabank as Brown reverses it to Buckles. Last minute of play here in the period now. Keller was able to pick off the pass, but had to wait as Costa was offside. She'll decide to go D-to-D to Gosling, and Gosling ahead for Johnson. That was sent back in deep by Team Sonnet as they'll get changes. Samantha Kogan, the lone forechecker. This Team Scotiabank will work it out. Turnbull away with speed over for Grace Graham. Ahead for Turnbull, the deflection, scores! Blair Turnbull, who else? And a nice ovation for the Stellarton Nova Scotia native as she gets her second point of the period and puts Team Scotiabank ahead here late in the second period.
Keep your stick on the ice. You hear that phrase all the time. Turnbull did exactly that, and she was able to get her stick into a perfect position to just get it on the puck, redirect it, and it is able to go just up and past Nicole Hensley and give Scotiabank their first lead of this afternoon.
And a nice pass along the ice by Fredericton native Grace Graham as she was able to find Turnbull there, and Turnbull just a picture-perfect deflection, able to put her team ahead with 30 seconds left in this second period. Thompson down low. That's turned aside, and Turnbull able to work it back up the ice. Unable to get it out on the second chance. Keller does. Stewart, cross ice. Shot on by Rebecca Johnston. Hensley had to look behind her, and she just covers that up with 10 seconds remaining. Want to stay up to date with the PWHP action? Sign up for the newsletter at pwhp.com/connect.
Blair Turnbull with a period that she will remember for a long time. A goal and an assist on virtually home ice. Yes, it's the other side of Mount Tom, and we know there's the rivalry between Colchester County / Truro and Pictou County, but once you get to representing your team at this level, it's basically home ice.
Lequette back for Panic, and she gets a shot away as time just about to expire. Hensley able to gobble that one up with 1.1 seconds left in the period.
And, you know, you look at the 2 goals that have been scored here on Hensley, you really cannot fault her for either of those 2 goals. They were just great plays. One where Turnbull made a great pass, one where Turnbull made a great deflection, and you just couldn't ask for more from a Scotiabank perspective. Team Sonnet is playing very, very well. I don't want to take anything away from them, but the latter stages of that period, after Sonnet went up 1-0, the Scotiabank team was able to respond. They were able to kick it into another gear and were able to tie it up and then claim their own lead.
Shots that period were 20-6 in favor of Team Scotiabank. So we'll step aside for the period. An interview coming up down on the bench. I believe it's going to be Abby Rock, the goal scorer for Team Sonnet. We'll wait and see. But after 2 periods of play here from the rec team, Scotiabank leading Team Sonnet by a score of 2-1.
All right, we're ringside with Team Sonnet's Abby Rock. Abby, an absolute cannon on that first goal of the weekend. Tell us what you saw.
Honestly, I was coming down the ice. I won't lie, I was a little tired, and I decided, you know what, we need to get a nice hard shot on net, so I decided to go for the slapper.
It looks pretty. We love to see it. And Nicole Hensley at your end putting on an absolute clinic. What are you guys going to do in the third period here to generate some offense?
Yeah, obviously we got to help her out. She's done unbelievable, and I think a lot of it is just getting pucks behind their D and just going to work back there. I think sometimes they're stepping, we're not quite getting it right behind their feet, so I think that's what we have to do.
Make the D turn. I love to hear that. And finally, we're on the East Coast. Is there any East Coast bucket list items you want to knock off while you're here in Truro?
You know, I'm looking for a lobster. I want to have some lobster while I'm out here. I've been missing it, so some fresh lobsters on the list.
Love to hear it. Third period's coming at you.
To every little girl watching, we see you.
We believe the time is now to make history. This game continues to grow. Progress has been made, but we haven't gotten far enough.
It's important to have a sustainable women's hockey league, and we want the next generation to have equality.
It's not like we've put in less sweat, it's that we've gotten less opportunities, and it's time that it changes.
Equal sweat deserves equal opportunity.
Equal opportunity. Equal opportunity.
Welcome back inside the Rath Eastlink Community Center here in Truro, Nova Scotia for the opening afternoon matchup of the PWHPA Showcase here in Truro between Team Scotiabank and Team Sonnet. Noah Poirier here alongside Michael Petter. We'll have the call of the game for you on cbcsports.ca. And Michael, after 2 periods of play, you can't ask for much better. It's a 1-goal game, chances at both ends, and both goaltenders have been playing well.
You look at the shot clock, and it would make you think that Team Scotiabank is really dominating this game. The shot clock is showing 33-12, but it's a much closer game than that. I think the real difference that we're seeing right now is that Scotiabank's defenders are doing a little bit better job of getting into the shooting lanes, so not quite as many of Sonnet's shots are getting all the way through onto the Scotiabank goaltenders, both Kristen Campbell, who started, and Emmerance Mashmeyer, who came in relief. The difference at the other end is Scotiabank is able to move the puck around a little bit more and is able to get their shots through all the way onto goaltender Nicole Hensley a bit more. That's why you're seeing the discrepancy on the shot clock, but it really is a well-balanced game, much different from what the shot clock is showing us.
And as mentioned, Team Scotiabank with the 2-1 lead over Team Sonnet. All the scoring coming in that second frame. Michael, what can you tell us about that?
It was just an incredibly exciting frame, and we started off the scoring at the 7:47 mark, and it was Team Sonnet who got on the board first. Abby Rock getting her second goal of the year, assists on that one going to both Hannah Bunton and Brianne Jenner. Then I didn't get the exact time written down, and I'm sorry for that, but it was somewhere around the 16 or 17 minute mark. The Team Scotiabank was able to tie it up. It was Shannon Stewart getting her first goal and first point of the year. Blair Turnbull getting the assist on that one. And then with 33 seconds left in the period, Turnbull gets her second point of the game, her 6th point already this year. She came into the tournament, or into this weekend rather, second in the league in scoring with 4 points. She finally gets her first goal to go with 5 assists on the year, so 6 points altogether. The assist on that goal going to Grace Graham, and that gave Scotiabank their first lead of this game, and it came, as I said, with just 33 seconds left in that second period.
A little maritime connection there on that second Team Scotiabank goal. Of course, Blair Turnbull from 30 minutes down the road in Stellarton. No wonder she's having a great game here this afternoon. And then Grace Graham from up in Fredericton, New Brunswick, the product of the Cornell program. Just all around great hockey by both teams so far this afternoon, and with such a tight game, I'm sure we're in for a close third period.
I say it so often, the first 5 minutes of the third period, to me, 99 times out of 100 is the most important 5-minute segment of any game. The only time it's not is when the game is well decided long before that. But this 5 minutes, you're either going to see Team Sonnet come out and really start to get some extra energy, start to really work their way to try and tie this game up, and if they are able to tie it up quickly, then they have a whole lot of time to play with left. If, however, on the other side, Scotiabank is able to really shut them down, really close off any sort of gaps in those first 5 minutes, Sonnet will start to get a little bit frustrated, a little bit antsy with the idea that they got to find a way to come back. So those first 5 minutes, I think, will be very telling for how the rest of this period is going to go.
And it's going to be Blair Turnbull lining up against Hannah Brandt as the third period is underway. From the wreck, off the draw, comes loose to Bourbonnais. She'll send it ahead for Turnbull. That pass went a little bit behind her, and it'll be a quick offside for Team Scotiabank. Just 9 seconds here into this third period.
Turnbull, it looked like the puck was bouncing on her just a little bit there, and we talked about the quality of the ice here. It has been fantastic so far in this game. And I think there, just the fresh ice caused a little bit of an unexpected bounce there on Turnbull.
Puck comes back to Bourbonnais. She'll go to her defense partner, Shelton. Shelton gains the blue line and feathers it in off the stanchion, but Thompson able to send it right back ahead. Now Hannah Brandt will slow it down, go back behind her net and feed Thompson. Thompson ahead for Ambrose. Ambrose shovels it through. Up in the neutral zone, Hillary Knight first on that as she'll circle away and gain speed through neutral ice. Cross on the near side, looking for Leslie. That was handled easily by Ella Shelton, and she'll send it behind the net for Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais flicked out to center, and a bit of back and forth here in the early minutes of the third period as Hillary Knight tried to tip it into the zone. Shelton was right there, and she'll send it right back out into the center ice area. Emily Brown ahead for Rock, the goal scorer for Team Sonnet. You're not going to give her much time to shoot now, especially after that laser beam of a shot in that second period, but Team Scotiabank able to work over. Bunton sends it back down low for Sonnet, down for Rock behind the net. Puck squirts loose. Mashmeyer got a piece of it, but the puck came loose, and now Alex Carpenter with that speed able to send it through to Bach. Victoria Bach looking for the cross ice pass to Panic, but a good play by Brown to get down on one knee and block it. As this line of Bach, Carpenter, and Panic has been a thorn in the side, to say the least, of the Team Sonnet defenders. And Bach held up by Jenner, and it's worked loose. The Sonnet defense able to send it back, and Laquette gloves it down and takes a shot that was blocked. And it's worked ahead. Jenner whacks at that one, but unable to clear. But on the second opportunity, it comes loose. Abby Rock has some room to skate with it. She'll gain center, send it the length of the ice as the rolling puck handcuffed Mashmeyer a bit, but she's able to handle it cleanly as both teams make changes. Sandy Hart over for Braga. Ahead, tipped in by Vasco, down into the Team Scotiabank end, picked up by Kat Kirion, who's had a quietly very good game defensively tonight. Sends it ahead, and now Grace Graham tries to get the shot away. Braga stays with it the whole time, unable to get a clean shot through. Field behind the net, pulled loose by Braga. Ahead for Kogan. Kogan cross ice for Schneider. Schneider gains center ice and will send it deep into the near side corner. It's whacked out to the point. Thompson over for Ambrose. Aaron Ambrose into the middle for Schneider. That shot caught a piece of Mashmeyer. And it's picked back up by Kogan. Pressure here from Sonnet. Schneider, that shot was deflected by the Team Scotiabank stick as it's still worked down low by Team Sonnet, and Claire Thompson will pinch up off the blue line. Being worked over by Keller. Thompson still with it, sends it back down low for Kogan. That takes a bounce off the end boards, and it's whacked loose. Thompson, almost like a fourth forward out there. And she'll circle back to her defensive position. Shot on, that was deflected just wide of the net as almost caught Mashmeyer going the other way. And this is what you mentioned, the first 5 minutes, crucial here in this third period. And it's been good for Team Sonnet, and all that work down low is now going to lead to a power play with 16:33 to go here in this one.
Scotiabank started to scramble a little bit in their own zone, and that's when mistakes happen. When you start losing your position because you're following, trying to go the basketball term man-on-man, player-on-player kind of defense, while combining it with a little bit of a zone defense, you start to get out of position, and that's when, like I said, that's where the mistakes happen, and it results in a penalty taken by Team Scotiabank, so Sonnet getting another power play opportunity here.
And a huge chance for Team Sonnet to tie this one up as Brandt will win the draw, and it comes back to Hillary Knight. Back to the point for Zandy Hart. Over for Brown. Back to Zandy Hart covering the point. Shot comes in. That was wide of the net. Might have caught a tip just in between the slot area. Knight working around a check, sends it down low to Leslie. Back for Knight. Knight shot comes in. Mashmeyer gloves that down as it will be Nicole Costa off for Team Scotiabank as Knight just came loose from that end board, and just the quickest release I've seen here tonight, just off in a half a second even.
And we talked about that in the second period with another player who had a great quick release. It is always so dangerous. Sometimes young kids, they think they got to take the big booming slap shot to get the highlight reel kind of goal. That's not the most effective necessarily. It might give you a little bit more speed, but what you lose in the extra time that allows everybody else to get set, is counteracting all of that extra little bit of speed you might get.
And Brown comes in with a shot from the left point. Mashmeyer covers that up. Just 17 seconds gone, and the penalty to Nicole Costa as the faceoff will come to the right of Emrance Mashmeyer. Brant lines up against Turnbull. Seems like they've been on a lot of faceoffs together. Coaches matching up here tonight. Leslie looking for the cross crease pass to Knight. That just hopped over her stick, but Hillary Knight able to pick it back up. She'll try to go cross ice for Brown. That hits a couple sticks. And able to work it back in is Brown. Reversed by Keller, picked up by Turnbull, but Hillary Knight able to box Turnbull out and send it across for Zandy Hart. Zandy Hart, that low shot looking for the tip in front. Just went wide of the goal. It comes back to Knight covering the point. Looking for some open space. Her and Zandy Hart will switch positions, and she'll leave it for Zandy Hart. Back for Knight. Some room to shoot, she does. That gets through a flurry of bodies in front, and Mashmeyer able to make the save and cover up with 1:03 to go in the penalty to Costa.
We talked about it when Scotiabank had the power play, how they set up in a 1-3-1. The Team Sonnet setting themselves up much more in a 2-3, where the wingers looking to crash the net, waiting on a defensive shot to get in and crash on the net, but the two defenders both playing high makes for a bit of a different look that we're seeing in this power play than we saw in Scotiabank's earlier.
Jenner over for Erin Ambrose. Ambrose head up all the way through. She'll spin away from Bourbonnais and send it back for Jenner. Jenner still with it at the faceoff dot into the slot for Abby Rock. That shot, I believe it hit Kogan in front and just dropped right in front of Mashmeyer, and she's able to cover that one off, but another dangerous shot coming in off the stick of Abby Rock.
Kogan trying to find that balance between getting in the way of the eyes of the goaltender and not getting in the way of the shot. Unfortunately for her in that particular case, ended up getting in the way of the shot and knocking it down, not just getting in the vision of Mashmeyer.
Ambrose over for Jenner. Jenner pulls it back and snapped one on as Claire Thompson playing up. It's almost like Thompson's a forward here, and then Jenner, the defenseman, as they're playing that umbrella. Jenner tries to drag it away. Back to the point. Thompson with it. That shot's blocked by Ella Shelton, but Sonnet able to hold the line. Back to Ambrose at the point. Over for Jenner. Back to Ambrose. She'll wind into one. Shot made by Mashmeyer. Puck still loose, and the blue paint finally squirts out to the slot. And able to pick it up is Alex Carpenter as the penalty to Costa expires. And Carpenter will gain the red line and peel off on a change. So a successful penalty kill by Team Scotiabank. Good work to keep Sonnet to the outside. As Erin Ambrose will retreat and try to break it out. That pass was picked off by Johnston. And she'll try to gain speed going through the ice. She's hauled down by Brown. No call on the play. And it's worked out to center for Keller. Ahead for Shannon Stewart. Stewart through the seam, tried to find either Johnson or Turnbull. Both were streaking towards the net. Turned over, and Laquette will send it ahead, and maybe a partial break with Johnson's speed. Johnston in, shot. Stopped by the butt end of the stick of Hensley. And worked in the corner. Johnston comes loose with it. She's knocked to the ice. Emily Brown, a very good defensive shift here. And a good pinch from Laquette from the point, but it's knocked away and out to the neutral zone, picked up by Keller. She'll slow it down as her teammates try to make a couple changes. Kelly Panic off the bench, able to stay with the puck, but turns it over, but Victoria Bach, she gains speed and she's away. Victoria Bach, a 2-on-1. Bach in, looking for that top corner, just missed on the glove side of Hensley, but able to hold the zone as Team Scotiabank. Carpenter tried to spin away from a check, but she spun right into another one. And Sonnet will work it out and go off on changes as Scotiabank tries to transition again. Carpenter almost batted that right out of midair, but that was blocked by Braga. And Bach will work back to the point and spin and fire down low for Carpenter. Alex Carpenter out to the point. Bach will pick that up and cycle down low for Panic. Tried to spin it out front where Carpenter was waiting, but it was swiped aside, and Leslie will dump and chase. Has Knight going to the net. Rebecca Leslie, cross ice pass, just wide of the net. I'm not sure if Mashmeyer caught a piece of it, but just that pass was slow enough where Mashmeyer was able to go post to post. But Knight still able to get the shot away, and Sonnet with some life here. That shot by Leslie, gloved by Emrance Mashmeyer. And a quick flurry at one end leads to a quick flurry at another end. The PWHPA wishes to express thanks to our premier partners, Secret Deodorant, Canadian Tire, and Air Canada.
And that last chance by Hillary Knight there, she was so deep, her feet were actually below the goal line as she took that shot on that cross-ice pass. But Maschmeyer, I think if that pass had been a little bit higher and Knight had been able to be a little bit higher, she might have been able to tuck it past Maschmeyer a little easier.
Just not a lot of room there as it's worked ahead. Lunny has to chase after it. The puck's going to roll on her, icing waved off as Lunny will be the first on the puck as she's knocked into by Ambrose. Worked out by Bunton. Gosselin able to hold the zone, but that pass to the front of the net was picked off by Claire Thompson, and Thompson works it ahead. Keller just over-skated it, and Thompson, the defense, hard in on the forecheck as Maschmeyer came out to play her, and it's worked ahead by Madison Field. Field around Brown, has some room to work with. Field in, low shot along the ice. The rebound comes out to Costa, and 2 saves by Hensley as she stayed square all the way through. Couple good opportunities for Team Scotiabank. The puck comes out. That shot was wide in that by Costa, and Kirion will hold the zone, but Jenner able to block that. Got tangled up with Kirion first, and then the lineswoman and Rebecca Johnson away with speed. Johnson cuts in the left wing, deeks to the backhand, tried to go 5-hole, puck still there, and it's in. What an effort by Rebecca Johnston, and Team Scotiabank will take a 3-1 lead.
Rebecca Johnston with a great individual effort, carrying the puck down the left wing, cuts to the middle of the ice, makes a couple of moves with the puck on her stick, and is able to somehow tuck it just underneath Nicole Hensley, who ended up getting sprawled out. I think Hensley may have gotten a piece of that puck, and now they're waving the goal off, it looks like, because they're putting the face-off just outside the blue line. It's going to be no goal.
Yeah, I do believe I seen the other official after the goal sign was made. The other official came in and did wave it off, so I think Hensley might have gotten bumped into. That might be the argument here, as Turnbull over having words with the official, and we'll try to get the call down low from Danny Karner, the official explanation.
And if that goal had counted, it would have been an incredible goal by Rebecca Johnston. It is still an incredible goal. It's just not going to count on the score sheet. Unfortunately for her, fortunately for fans of Team Sonnet, it remains a 1-goal game here with just over 11 minutes left.
Team Sonnet with possession off the draw. Buckle sends it through. Good defensive play by Kirion so many times tonight. Her name's been mentioned on the defensive end, and she's able to block another pass, and that is turned over as Laquette pinches in off the right point. Tries to send a saucer pass through the middle, looking for Stewart. Laquette still with it. On the left side, back for Ella Shelton off the bench. Deflection, puck came right loose. Turnbull had a wide open net if she could have corralled that cleanly, but it's worked out. Now Kogan with it. Tries to work by Ella Shelton. The second chance, Schneider comes in, got tripped up. And still hard on the forecheck as Kogan now picked up. Back to the point, Zandy Hart winds a fire. Purposely went wide of the net as she's seen Kogan streaking towards that middle to try to get that deflection away.
Samantha Kogan getting herself into great position to try and get on that deflection, but it was Ella Shelton who was able to get her stick in the path of that and deflect it up over the glass and out of play. You hear the phrase all the time, active sticks. Ella Shelton, a perfect example of that there to deny that opportunity for Samantha Kogan.
Zandy Hart went D-to-D for Braga. She'll send it down low behind the net. Leslie loses it to Shelton. Shelton, one of those bright young defenders, only 24 years of age, already playing on the Canadian national team and really proving it here tonight as a shot comes in by Brandt. That caught Maschmeyer square in the helmet. She'll shake it off as the puck comes back out into the Sonnet end. Worked ahead to Brandt. Brandt tried to shoot it through the legs of Bourbonnais, but Bourbonnais blocked that on the inside of the shin pad, and the puck's worked out. Looking for Victoria Bach. Bach will be the first to it. Gets around Braga. Victoria Bach centering pass, looking for Carpenter. Carpenter chopped at it, but didn't get a lot on it, and it's worked ahead. Keller able to hold the line. And the puck does kind and squirt free. Hillary Knight gains center, sends that down on the far side, and she'll peel off on a change as well as Hannah Brandt. As we're under 10 to go here in this hockey game, Team Scotiabank still leading Team Sonnet 2-1. Grace Graham, pass into the slot. Field turns and fires. That shot stopped by Hensley. And just a quick move by Field to drag it to the forehand and get that shot away. Hensley able to make the glove stop, and back on transition comes Team Sonnet. Down low, Prevost working on Gosling. They get tangled up, and Keller able to pull it loose as somebody lost the glove down low. I believe it was Prevost. As it's worked ahead, turned over, Ambrose picks it up. Over for Prevost with one glove on. She winds and fires that one. That caught a stick and up off the end glass. She'll go off on the bench. And a long stretch pass. Costa dekes by Brown. She'll slow up. Waiting for options. She'll decide to cycle it down low for Field. Field, the centering pass. Nobody there in a white jersey, and Team Sonnet will come out. Abby Rock. Rock weaves her way in. Pass comes over. Pass looking for Jenner in front. That was off the stick of Hannah Bunton. That was deflected by one of the defenders on Team Scotiabank. Now work back out. Here comes Shannon Stewart, one of the goal scorers for the white and red. Good heads-up play by Brown, and Rock tried to flip that out of the zone. It hit the helmet of Johnston, and Team Scotiabank stays on the puck. Johnson, another chance, cuts to the middle, shot just wide of the net is Johnston with almost a carbon copy, except this time she was on the forehand of that goal that was disallowed just a few moments ago as Team Scotiabank works it down. Behind Hensley, it's picked up by Brown. Brown goes off the glass and out. That'll have a lot on it, and it will have enough. No, just at the last second. The ice being played on for 13 minutes here. That played an effect on that as icing waved off, and back the other way comes Team Scotiabank. Bourbonnais trying to work around Braga. She'll leave it for Carpenter. Carpenter back for Panic, who had stepped in and taken the position of the defenseman, and it's possible 3-on-1 back the other way. Knight has Leslie, has Brandt trailing ahead. Brandt, backhander. Glove stop made by Mashmeyer, and deflects up and out of play as we reach our final commercial break of this game. The next stop on the Secret Dream Tour is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on November 26th. For tickets and broadcast information, please visit pwhpa.com.
What a back check there. It was for, I believe it was Costa, who was back checking so hard on that play to get in and turn what was a 3-on-1 into a 3-on-2 and take away one of the passing options for Team Sonnet as they were coming in on the rush. That allowed the other defender to take away the pass that had been available, and then we ended up seeing the puck deflected and out of play as a result of that, and a big play on that back check for Team Scotiabank.
The shot's now 39-20 in favor of Team Scotiabank here in this hockey game, and Emrance Mashmeyer, I'm not sure if she twisted the wrong way or if she's stretching out there just above the face-off circle, but looks no worse for wear, hopefully, as the rest of the showcase goes on. Nicole Hensley over there moving. She's played an excellent game here, 37 saves for the goaltender for Team Sonnet here tonight, and no wonder she's one of the best in the world by the way she's playing.
The one thing I have to say is I'm glad we're not picking the 3 stars, because that is going to be a next to impossible decision. You could pick any one of the 38 players who've been playing in this game so far and have a legitimate reason to pick them. Rebecca Johnston, she's done everything except get on the score sheet. She's been all over the ice. She's been doing so many good things. She scored a goal that didn't end up counting. You know, you could go on and on about her. You could go on and on about, obviously, Blair Turnbull with her goal and an assist. You could go on about Nicole Hensley and all the saves she's made. A lot of tough decisions to pick the 3 stars.
Thompson circles back, and she'll try to shake Bach off as she works it ahead for Brandt, and Brandt will send it down deep on the near side. First to it is Gosling. She'll see her defense partner, Keller. Keller's pass too far for Bach, and the shot comes in from Claire Thompson. A good screen in front, but Mashmeyer able to glove it down on the shot from the point from Claire Thompson.
And of course, along with the 3 stars, there will be the Canadian Tire Player of the Game, who will be interviewed at the end of the game as well. So make sure you stick around for that. You don't want to miss that. And a lot of nominees who could very well end up being that Canadian Tire Player of the Game.
Bach, a good outlet pass, was looking for Carpenter, but Thompson was able to steer that aside, and now we'll get a whistle on an offside here with 6:37 to go in this hockey game. Team Scotiabank still leading Team Sonnet by a score of 2-1.
And Bach, I mean, you talk about, if you wanted to find the fastest player on the ice, it might be that she's going at Mach 1 instead of Bach, or maybe we should call it Bach 1 now. instead of Mach 1, the
Yeah,
speed that she's
that
going
would definitely
at.
make sense. Between her and Alex Carpenter on the same line, I'd like to see them in a straight line race from end to end as the shot comes in from Alexa Vasco just wide of the net. Pushed back to the point, held in by Buckles and sent back down low. Vasco has to hurry, but Bourbonnais will be the first on it. And she'll deke around the forechecker. On the second chance, able to get it out as she's knocked down by Brown. It's worked out. Schneider trying to go 5-hole. Rebound comes loose. Buckles trying to corral the rolling puck. Spins back to the point. Nice cross-ice pass. Shot comes in. Pad stop made by Maschmeyer. Good shift here from Team Sonnet as the puck comes loose to Costa. She'll send it ahead for Haley Lunny. Lunny has Shelton pinching up in the play with her, and Shelton will be the first on the puck. She's held against the boards by Buckles. Lunny and Brown down there as well. Still down low, and finally the official will call for the whistle as Shelton drops to her knees and gets a tap from Emma Buckles.
That combination of Buckles and Brown has been so good all night. They communicate with each other so well. You can tell if one of them starts to pinch up a little bit, the other one covers for her. And it doesn't matter whether it's Buckles who chooses to pinch or Brown who chooses to pinch. They both have been communicating so well and playing so well as a tandem all night long.
Buckles and Brown, both 5-year college players. Buckles with Harvard and Brown with Minnesota as the shot came in on Maschmeyer. And they're both rookies in the PWHPA this year, and neither look out of place whatsoever as Team Sonnet will work it ahead, and that'll be tipped in by Carolyn Prevost. Puck goes back to Prevost. She tried to get it back to the point, but that was blocked and sent back down low. Spinning around, only one there was Blair Turnbull, and she'll slow the play down, spin away from Prevost. A couple nice moves to get around her, and looks for that pass through the middle to Johnston, and Johnston gets away from Zandy Hart and has some space. Rebecca Johnson works her way in. The trailer Stewart was held up, and a good play by Abby Rock to hold Stewart up. And now Keller at the top of the face-off circle. Her pass was blocked, and now Jenner a one-on-one with Gosling, but Keller, a great effort to get back by Megan Keller, able to force the turnover, and Kelly Panic will feather it ahead. Carpenter has Bach going to the net, waits, and that was blocked by Thompson. Picked up by Hillary Knight, and she'll try to get away as she was held up by Kelly Panic, and Bach will gain some speed through neutral ice. Victoria Bach just offside as just half a step was Kelly Panic on the other side, and Bach was about to get to maximum effort there. It looked and almost burned the defender with 4:17 to go.
I hate to pick on a player for a decision, but I'm going to pick on Megan Keller here for just a second. When she took that couple of steps in before going to take that shot, when you're carrying a 1-goal lead into the final 5 minutes of the game, that's not the time for a defender to take a couple steps in before making a shot. Fortunately, she was able to get back on the back check and recover from it, but that could have been a costly mistake.
Hensley will leave that for Ambrose. Ambrose, a long pass, a good heads-up pass. And icing waved off as Shelton went hard into the net. Good play by Ambrose. She just ripped it down the end wall. She seen Hillary Knight go into the puck, knew she'd beat out the icing, but that bounce made it closer than it should have been as Bach takes it out to center ice, picked off by Brown. Over for Buckles. Ahead for Leslie. Down the right side has Shelton covering her. Tried to send it through the middle for Brown, who stepped in off the point, and a battle for it as Costa and Field were battling for the loose puck, and then Vasco got in there as well, and it'll be an offside against Team Scotiabank as we approach the last 3.5.
Great battle there between Vasco and Field as they were both going after the puck. They ended up getting tangled up a little bit and both ended up going down. But, you know, there is no doubting the passion that both of these teams are playing with. They want to win this game. They want to show that the weekend here in Truro is off to a great start, and getting the 2 points in the standings going to be important, especially when you consider every team came into this weekend with 1 win and 1 loss.
Thompson away as Keller blew a tire. Thompson got a shot on, but a good defensive play by Costa. She was able to deflect that puck away, but Thompson able still to get the shot on net as Schneider, curl and drags, tried to get by Graham, but Graham able to poke the puck away. Zandy Hart down low looking for the give and go with Vasco. That was disrupted by a stick of the Scotiabank player, and it comes back to the point for Aaron Ambrose. Ambrose still with it. Curls around the net looking for a passing option. Couldn't find one, so she decides to cycle it back down low. Keller, the lone woman there, and she'll flip it on the near side, but not out. Team Sonnet will try to make a quick change here. It's Bridget Laquette back to collect behind the net, and she'll send it back behind the net to Keller. Tipped in by Costa. No icing on the play. Brown will be the first one there. Emily Brown ahead for Knight. Knight chips it ahead, looking for Rock. First on it was Bourbonnais, and she'll spin and fire it to Stewart, and Stewart will send it the length of the ice, and it will just have enough on it for icing as Erin Ambrose took that little look back and just kind of glided in and able to force the icing here with 2:14 to go.
And we're going to see that Nicole Hensley is going to go to the bench for the extra attacker here. 2:14, a lot of time, and if you can win a face-off here with the 6-on-5, you've got so much time to work with. I find it interesting that they're pulling the goalie so early, relatively speaking. I mean, 2:14, yes, it's late in the game, but normally you see them like a minute to a minute and a half, but extra 45 seconds. But Sonnet wins the draw, so they get that extra time to work with.
Thompson off the point, tried to send it into the middle for Jenner. Trying to get that shot away at the top of the face-off circle, was unable to, and it's picked up in the corner by Bourbonnais. Rolling puck, nobody able to corral it. 3 Scotiabank bodies there, and it's swung out by Rebecca Johnston and all the way down the ice. And it'll be another icing as Thompson and Zandy Hart were on the back check. 1:46 to go, and you mentioned it a little bit early to maybe pull the goalie, but men's hockey, women's hockey, I feel like every year you're seeing a little bit earlier. Like I've seen games where sometimes 3-4 minutes left. You got Patrick Waugh with 8 minutes left or whatever. As a face-off won by Team Sonnet. Jenner tried to get the shot away. That was blocked by Ella Shelton. Back into the slot looking for Brandt. That was blocked. And Rock will send it back to Knight. Over for Claire Thompson. Thompson, the face-off circle. Knight fires one just wide of the net, trying to get that hard shot off, and a good play. Jenner and Zandy Hart able to stop the incoming forecheck, and a good play by Nicole Costa to pick off that pass and send that the length of the ice for another icing call against Team Scotiabank with 1:18 to go.
A very intelligent play there by Costa. The only thing I would have liked to see her do differently is maybe just put a little bit less steam on that puck. Try to get that draw weight down to the forefoot instead of having it go through the back of the house.
Exactly, and 1:18 to go. Team Sonnet putting the pressure on here in the late stages of this game. Emrance Mashmeyer had to come in as she was switched up with Campbell about halfway through this game, and she's been steady as the puck comes in by Zandy Hart. That was blocked as the Scotiabank defenders are collapsing in. The shot comes in from Zandy Hart just wide as nobody was there for a deflection. The puck unable to get out, as finally does get out, excuse me, as we approach the last minute of play. Zandy Hart will reverse it for Jenner. Brianne Jenner with a little bit of room down the right side. Shot blocker save made by Mashmeyer. Brandt able to hold the line. She'll send it over for Zandy Hart on the right point. Down low on the near side, Jenner able to settle it down, sends it down low for Rock, across for Knight. That handcuffed her a bit, but pinching up off the point was Zandy Hart. Leaves it for Rock. Rock back down low for Zandy Hart. Behind the net, Jenner. Out for Ambrose, shot blocker save made by Mashmeyer. Last 23 seconds to go. That shot, looking for the deflection by Zandy Hart, was blocked. Another pass tipped off by Ella Shelton as Carpenter tries to shield her woman out. Rock behind the net. Last 10 seconds now. Rock comes loose from the fray. It's pulled out by Bourbonnais, and she'll flip it. And this won't have enough for icing on it, and that should pretty much do it as it came down to the wire. But Team Scotiabank will take the opening game of this PWHPA showcase over Team Sonnet by a score of 2-1.
What an incredibly entertaining hockey game. You know, you talk about a game that has only 3 goals scored. Sometimes people might think, oh, well, you know, not a lot happened. But so much did happen in this game. Such entertaining play, great passes, great defense, great goaltending. So many good things to see over the course of this 60 minutes of hockey. And this is just game 1 of 6 that we're going to have here at the Rathieslink Community Center over the next 3 days.
We'll wait for the Canadian Tire player of the game and the 3 stars of the game. Didn't hear the third star, second star Abby Rock with a goal. And Blair Turnbull, much to the delight of this hometown crowd, named first star of this game as a team will line up at center to shake hands.
Hard to argue against Turnbull. A goal, an assist, plus, you know, the sentimental favorite here locally. A very good choice, obviously. Abby Rock as the number 2 star, I think a great choice as well. She had that goal for Team Sonnet. And I thought I heard that the third star might have been Grace Graham, but again, it went by so quickly. We're not 100% sure on that. But, you know, so many different players that you could choose from for that third star. A lot of really good performances out there.
Team Sonnet out shooting Team Scotiabank in that third period by a total of 13-6. The game total, Team Scotiabank with 39 and Team Sonnet with 26. But a very entertaining game for our first game of the showcase, and we still got more to come.
Yeah, coming up at 8 o'clock, we're going to have the other 2 teams for today. That will be Team Harvey's and Team Adidas. And then 4 more games Saturday and Sunday as the players give their sign off and their thank you to the fans who were fantastic here this afternoon. Very supportive fans. Obviously a little bit more support for Team Scotiabank, but a great showing here for a Friday afternoon in Truro.
So stay tuned. We're going to have the Canadian Tire player of the game, Blair Turnbull, there. And we'll be back shortly, 8 p.m. Atlantic, 7 p.m. Eastern on cbcsports.ca for, as you mentioned, the second game of the showcase as Team Adidas takes on Team Harvey's. That'll do it for our first broadcast of the day. For Michael Petter, my name's Noah Poirier. The final score, Team Scotiabank 2, Team Sonnet 1.
All right, we're ringside with Shannon Stewart here. Stewie, moving up to the first line with Johnny and Turnbull. Tell us what it was like to play with those two.
Yeah, it was really exciting. You know, it was a good opportunity, and we capitalized on some chances. So yeah, it was a good vibe.
And you opened the scoring for Team Scotiabank. Families from Pictou County, so good East Coast girl here. You had lots of family in the stands. How cool did it feel to, pot that opening goal?
Yeah, it was exciting. I think we had a lot of chances. Then finally, we were able to capitalize on it. And of course, with the fam here, it was a great time. Had to celly pretty hard.
Love to see it. And you guys play Team Adidas tomorrow night at 7 p.m. They'll be looking to redeem themselves from the Montreal Showcase. How are you guys going to prepare for tomorrow?
I think we just need to rest up, get some water in us, and we'll be ready to go again.
Awesome. We'll see you here tomorrow.